We are so pleased to welcome back on set Mike Guimares, who is the owner broker of Remax Spectrum here in Plymouth, the South Shore and beyond. Welcome back, Mike.
Great, thank you very much.
We have you quite frequently for your section that we call Home Matters, and you talked all about real estate. We're going to start with what we always start with, the state of the market right now. It's getting to be near Thanksgiving. Things are slowing down.
Hard to believe the holidays are here.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're always talking about how we think the market's going to come to a screeching halt, and this year it's actually not done that. It started to slow down in the last week or so with the weather turning cold. We did benefit from some great interest rates. They dropped in the past couple weeks, which kept people in the game a little bit longer. But as expected, going into the end of the year, it's going to slow down. People are going to focus on family as they should, and then rev up in January. You know, I think folks are still feeling pretty good about the economy in general and where things are going. And there's not much concern, I think, right now about the tax program that's been presented is in discussion.
The home mortgage interest, whether or not it's still going to be used as a deduction, that's
it's a
up
big
in the
part
air.
of everyone's tax planning each year.
And
putting a cap on that it could be devastating. So the National Association of Realtors is definitely fighting that on behalf of homeowners, and I think that we'll see
and all
that stay.
homeowners are fighting that too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see that stay, I think.
Okay, well, let's hope so. So let's talk about how we prepare our homes for the winter, starting with water. What's the big deal about water?
Water is probably the toughest thing that homes deal with because any penetration of water in the home can create havoc. Homes are built of wood, and water does not play well with wood.
No.
So there's a lot of things that people can do in preparation for the winter. Whether or not they're going to sell in the spring, they should be doing these things anyways just to preserve their home. But you want to do everything you can to keep water outside the home. So you know, it really starts with simple things that can take maybe a couple hours on the weekend to prepare and get ready for the winter time.
So it's like shutting off your water spigots, remove exterior hoses. If you have an internal shutoff in your basement for the outside, you should shut that off. Yeah,
some of the newer homes, so you have your exterior spigots, you want to shut them down, you want to remove the hoses from them.
Yes.
Any water built up in there is going to freeze.
Freeze, right.
Yep, and cold air can travel through that frozen water into the home. Newer homes have shutoffs inside the home.
Yep.
So sometimes in the basement you'll see a shutoff inside. It's even better to shut off inside, keep the outside open at that point, and let it just drain.
Okay.
And then you'll have no concerns. One of the misconceptions people think is that the spigots are freeze-proof.
Yeah,
but they're really not.
Yeah, they're not. Okay, great advice. Clean the gutters, downspouts.
Yeah, it's probably the most dreadful job.
And people forget about that.
They do, and I think people don't realize they think maybe there's not a lot of trees around their home, so they can't have a lot of leaves or pine needles in the gutters. But wind blows, and it does make its way in there. Any buildup in your gutters, if those downspouts are blocked, the water can build back up and penetrate the trim boards and in the roof.
Yeah.
And then you'll have water stains in the home. And
you go back to that water again, that evil
creates
water.
Lots of problems, yeah. So you want to take some time just to make sure the downspouts are clear. Extend the downspouts over the lawn if you have to get them away from the house.
Okay, perfect. Remove screens. I never do that.
I know. I never did either until the last few years. There's always something that's blowing in the wind in the wintertime and can hit a screen. Even heavy buildup of snow inside the window area can put stress on the screens. They can rip, tear, and then in the summertime you have bugs getting in and whatnot. So very simple. It takes a few minutes for each window to pull them down. If you have storm windows, make sure those are back up and operating well. And that's a really good time to check your windows to make sure none of the glass is broken.
Yeah, really good point. Excellent point. Store all exterior furniture.
Yeah, those lawn chairs is the worst thing in the wintertime is seeing a lawn chair flying through the yard. It can do a lot of things. It can break through a window, through a door, just do damage to siding, which you don't want as well. So it's good to pack up all that stuff. Not everybody has a shed or a basement, but if you can pack them tightly somewhere in your yard, up near your home, around a deck, so that the wind can't really get at it.
Even put a tarp over them.
Anything, it really does go a long way.
Your heating system tune-up and your tank check.
Yeah, the heating system should be done every year if it's an oil system. And most times people like to do it in October if you can, but when it's warm out like it's been, people kind of forget.
We forget it.
Yep. So it's good to check your oil tank, make sure there's no leaks. Have someone service your oil system. The last thing you want is any kind of what's called a blowback or something that's going to cause carbon monoxide to build up in your home.
Right.
So it's money well spent. And if you maintain it, it runs more efficient. It actually saves you money in the long run.
Exactly. What about the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors?
Yeah, so So we get spoiled with summertime, windows are open,
Yep.
air's flowing. We always try to change our batteries at the
Yes.
clock changes,
Yep.
of course, right?
Yep.
But when the house is all tightened up and the windows and doors are closed and the heating system's running, that's the time where there's a risk for carbon monoxide. You want to make sure those batteries are changed. And I would also say that if your smoke detectors are 7 years old or older, you probably should think about changing them.
Getting
they
new
have
one.
internal
Yep.
batteries now,
Yep.
and they fail after about 7
Yep.
years. So
Yep.
it's good to just change them out.
Perfect. Tips for winter efficiency aside from that? Anything else? to
Yeah, I
make your home
think
efficient?
everyone's caught up in the Nest thermostats and things like that,
Yeah.
programmable.
Oh
it's
yeah,
good and
where
bad.
it'll turn back on at 5 o'clock because it knows you're coming home at 6.
Absolutely.
But that's a constant up and down of your
It's a strain.
on your heating system.
Yeah, if you set your temperature and forget it, your system typically runs more efficient.
Yeah.
It'll keep a constant temperature. It's not going to always feel that really heavy load.
Right.
I know that everyone feels differently about that, but there are really good studies that show that the systems last longer if they're kept under a constant temperature rather
Okay.
than up and down.
Yep, really good advice. So in our last 2 minutes, let's talk about preparing your home for the spring, because not many people, unless they have to, would intentionally put their house on the market probably in December or January,
Right.
unless they have to move for a work reason or something else.
Sure.
So the idea would be March, right? End of March?
Yeah, you want to always beat the market. So
Okay.
you want to beat that inventory flux that comes in generally in April when people are thinking of spring.
Yep.
Challenge we've had in the last couple of years is we've had snow on the ground first week in
Right,
April.
right.
So that's been hard for some
Yep.
folks to get to that, but you definitely want to get on the market before that. So if you're targeting end of March,
Mm-hmm.
you want to get a month or a month and a half prior to that to start thinking about what do I need to do to tidy up my home, get it ready, start opening up what I closed down
Yep.
for the winter time, make sure I don't have any repairs that are needed.
Yep.
You want to give yourself some time. Nothing worse than starting to get the house ready and find out you have this big repair that needs to be done, and that's going to set you back a month.
Now, should you figure out what realtor you want and bring them in for a consult a month, 6 weeks before you actually want to put it on the market?
Absolutely, yeah. You should always interview several realtors, have them come
Yep.
and give their opinion on your home.
Yep.
Let you know some of the things that need to be touched up or looked at before you put it on the market.
Yep.
And then that way you can start to get to it and hire them to hit the market running before April 1st.
Right.
You really want to focus on prior to that date. Once you get into April, you're competing with more homes.
Right.
And that's going to hurt your
Right.
saleability.
The less homes out there, the better yours
your
looks.
price. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And how homes are still selling, though, the ones that are out there are still selling quite quickly.
They are, yeah. Homes that are priced properly are selling very quickly still.
Yep.
You know, we're seeing homes go under our agreement with a week or two still, which is very good.
Yeah.
Homes that typically linger longer than that have been overpriced,
Right,
and
right.
they need to react to that
Right.
and get their price.
Because
in
every
line.
house will sell if it's priced
There's a
correctly.
buyer for every home.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for the people that are not thinking of selling their house, what advice do you give to if they see that their neighbors are selling their house? Is there anything to do with the neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean the neighborhoods are very important and how people maintain their home
Yeah.
throughout your entire neighborhood.
Yes.
And quite honestly, human nature. People that take care of their homes, it tends to be infectious throughout the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
that's true.
So if you're out doing things in your yard and you're showing you're tidying up your property, even though you may not be selling,
Yep.
it definitely helps
Yep,
other
it
people
does.
get in that
Yep,
mindset.
Yep. Excellent. Great advice.
Great.
Thank you. We'll
Thanks.
have you back right after the first of the year
Can't wait.
to chat about the new year and the new market.
Get ready for 18.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.